We conducted our conference here at the beautiful Arizona Grand Resort and Spa in Phoenix, Arizona.
For us, having a summit is really important because it's an opportunity to build networking and trust, and in doing that, you have to build relationships because trust is so important in the field that we're in. And so doing a hybrid summit was a no-brainer for me. It was just something I really committed to. I also thought it was something that we needed to do as a partner to the hotel because they've been working so hard with us to make sure that this event could happen, as well as the AV team. So I looked at it as a good partner. And I also looked to it as a model for where we could go in the future because we have to learn to live in this environment that we're in right now. Doing the event was actually like planning 2 events. So it took a lot of work on the team's part to make sure that not only were we doing a virtual platform that would reflect what we're doing on site, but also planning an on-site activity and events to make the people that were here also engaged. I had a vision on what I wanted to happen. I've been to so many of these events lately where it's just more of the boring, old Zoom type webinar conferences, and I really wanted to do something different, and my vision was to make it more like a television show. And one of the things I was kind of adamant about was having the one long general session. There was a continuous feed of information going through. It took a lot of thought and process. We had to put a lot of what we called filler, but they were basically like commercials or things about the board or things that we could, demos about how to use the platform, even little teasers about upcoming events. So it was something that we really put a lot of thought into. It took a lot of effort, but I think it paid off in the end.
We started with an agenda. As you could see, we had a track of all the sessions that were live in Arizona, as well as virtual breakouts that were pre-recorded. We had networking breaks and lunches, and we made sure that every second of those breaks and lunches had filler in them. There was a lot of planning that went into the event, as I mentioned earlier, and everything had to be tightly scripted. Here is a piece of the script. This is where we were doing script reads every day behind the scenes. Here is our MC, who was key to making sure our event ran smoothly. You can also see where he was on the main stage, on the mobile app, and on the virtual platform. We had a number of sessions, and you can see here on the left the view from the virtual platform, as well as what it looked like on the screen in Arizona. Here are some more examples of that. And here's an example of a panel we did where we had 2 people participate virtually and 2 in person, with Gary, our MC, moderating. You could see in the foreground how it looked on screen on the platform when one person was speaking. We also did breakouts that were pre-recorded, and here is an example of one. During networking breaks and lunches, we had opportunities for attendees to go to exhibitor booths. And we also took the opportunity to do some interviews of live and virtual attendees on the fly, a type of person on the street interview. And here you could see Gary in the corner is interviewing an attendee that appeared later in the event, as you can see here. We did interviews from behind and in front of the stage. As I said, we made sure that everything was filled, so we had pre-recorded interviews with select vendors, as well as demos of our platform and the point system, and wonderful prizes that could be won by participating in designated activities. We also did a really fun thing for the event we called Tic Tac Talk, sort of a take on the TV show Hollywood Squares, and we had a number of our members and our staff participate in this, and it was hilarious. Finally, we had a mixologist lead a hybrid happy hour. It was a very popular event. Of course, we also had events on site, and we made sure that everyone was safe. And while this is what our stage looked like, backstage was a conglomeration of boxes and equipment, as you could see here. We'll take a little walk through so you can get a sense of the setup.
Hello, this is Devin, our audio guy, who takes care of all the video playback and all the microphones. And we're moving over to the camera operator, Jeremiah, who's been doing camera for quite a while on many events. Then we move over here, Denise. We have a teleprompter on the front of the camera for all the scripts that we like to play back. And if you come on backstage, Denise, I'll show you everybody else behind the scenes. As you can see, there's quite a bit of us behind the stage. There's Corey, who's running the teleprompter that's on the front of the video camera. And Jonathan is in charge of webcasting. He's making sure the feed gets out to Pathable and everything's looking good. And then we got multi computers lined up here for all the presentations and playback. And then we go over here to the video switcher and Scott's our video director that we play all the videos from and all the cameras, and then we send this over to the webcasting. And then behind you we have a green screen that we've been using for any of the interviews that we've been doing.
One of the key things that are needed to pull this off is ability to be flexible, because there were so many last minute adjustments we had to make. There were some filler we had to adapt on the fly. There was little glitches that we had to adjust to here and there. Obviously with the COVID, people not being able to travel at the last minute, we had to move sessions around. But it all worked because we were able to adapt and overcome. And again, I think being flexible is the absolute key to making this happen. As I said earlier, I think this can be a model for other events, because COVID and this environment is something that we need to learn to live with. And also, I don't think the virtual component to many of these conferences is going to go away. So hopefully people can look at what we did and adopt it in their own applications and be able to use it as a good role model or tool for them in the future based on our experience here. But I wanted to prove that we could do a hybrid summit and do it in a safe and effective manner, and I think we were able to do that.
The H-ISAC 2020 Hybrid Fall Summit would not have happened without a lot of teamwork. I'd like to thank PDG, TES, the Arizona Grand, Gary Berman, Pathable, and the H-ISAC staff for all that they did. A job well done.